So today I'm going to be reviewing Lockdown by Alexander Gordon Smith. And come to think of it, this is my first real legitimate book review on YouTube because for the past 6 years, minus the hiatus of a few months since that blah blah blah, I've only been putting my reviews in texts. The reason that I picked Lockdown for my first real book review vlog is this book really did something to me. I actually read the third book originally first, because the bookstore didn't have this one nor the second one, but that's a conversation for another time. Just this series, it's just something that I've looked up to ever since I first was able to read the whole thing. There's really no other book series like it. So what it's basically about is this kid named Alex Sawyer. And, well, let's just say that there's no indication that he has abusive parents or he's struggling financially, but let's just say he likes the short-term rewards of greediness. He really likes to steal from other classmates, and he likes to make them seem small and therefore make himself seem tougher. But he just feels that he has a conscience about this whole thing, so he doesn't feel like he's bad enough to end up locked down into Furnace Penitentiary, a very infamous prison he lives near. It's buried a mile beneath the earth, and the worst killers and gangs go down there. And it was built after this summer of slaughter, where so many kids turned to crime to the point where there were some very big restrictions for juveniles and delinquents like him. But he ends up ignoring these, and he and his best friend and sidekick Toby, they end up trying to do a normal heist at a house way out of town, and he ends up intercepted by these strange figures in gas masks and this big hulking guy that he calls Moleface. And they end up shooting Toby and implementing Alex's fingerprints on the gun, and pretty soon he is captured and thrown into Furnace and is sentenced to life in prison there. Buried a mile beneath the earth with only one way in and no way out, he feels he just has to escape, especially since this prison, the air is so thin, it's like you're sitting in an oven, and you always have to watch your back, and the food there is just basically not real food, put it bluntly, or put it nicely. And sometimes in the middle of the night, they take you down to the bowels of Furnace, and you better hope that you're not picked, and you better hope that the person who is picked doesn't come back. What I really love is it's the execution of it. Maybe pun intended, because that's the name of the last book. Let's just say Alexander Gordon Smith. He wrote this book not knowing how or even if his character would get out, so there's really no winks to something being useful later on. The way he wrote it, you feel there's actually a real sense of doom. You feel like it's legitimate. This character might never see the sun or moon again. He might never be able to breathe fresh air. He might never be able to eat any real food again. He might have to spend his entire life in this very tiny cell, always worrying about surviving the next day, and his mind really melding into boredom and mush as he forgets all the things he's ever loved, all the books and television shows, all the colors, how everything good used to taste. It's a really good study just about, I know study's a boring word, but just what being locked up can really do to a person. The stereotypes of horror story scares are, bats, zombies, sharks, some sort of cackling laughter, something you can't see, something you can't understand. But there are also legitimate fears like being locked up for a crime and telling the truth and having no one believe you, especially when you're being locked up for a crime you didn't commit, and losing all the people you love. It's a simple yet completely brilliant combination of these legitimate scares and the horror scares you expect. And I just cannot imagine the terror that I would feel in any of these characters' situations. And also, I really love the bromance between Alex and his cellmate Donovan. It really did something to me there. You see, it really develops, but develops really slowly. And when it shows how in Furnace you have to accept all the little freedoms you have, the biggest and most delicate one is friendship. I feel that this book really shows how important being with friends and family really is in times of calamities and crises and some horror shows like this one. Donovan really puts Alex under his belt and really helps him navigate as he gets used to being in Furnace, And Alex gives Donovan hope for one day being able to get out of here. And they really play off each other well. They also just like give each other a good time. They like to chat, they like to reminisce, and then as the possibility of escape gets bigger and bigger, the more it just seems like they're inseparable. And there's just something really amazing about a relationship like this that rivals even the books that are centered around romance. I mean, Z, Alex's best friend who was with him in the same court trial, he's great too, but compared to him and Donovan, he holds nothing. Honestly, I cannot recommend Lockdown enough. It's one of my favorite books of all time. I think it's like tied with two others for best ever. So my obvious grade is a full 4 out of 4. So I'm going to be trying over these next few days to review the other books in the series, as well as all sorts of other books on my shelf that I read years ago, and I hope that it all turns out well. So I hope you enjoyed this, and I'd love to hear what you think of the Escape from Furnace series. So see you around. Thanks for watching.